Hey guys, welcome back to Ballseye. My wife is staring at me right now. We're here with Jason Kinney. We're going to be talking about generational studies. What does it mean to be a Gen X or a Gen Z? What does success look like today? What's important to people? And how has that changed?
What does success to a 10-year-old look like compared to success to someone like me who's probably in their 30s?
Yeah, we'll be talking about that today on Ballseye.
When I hear something's going to blow your mind.
Yeah, blow my mind.
This dude's 6'2". Like,
Yeah.
how could you miss him?
The number of unaccounted for people could potentially stretch into the billions.
And he said, no one has yet to actually name and discover what actually holds an atom together.
I've never seen anything like it.
Got Jason back in the studio. We're gonna chop it up a little bit today. Talk about some generational stuff.
Generation.
Maybe some other stuff too. Just kind of see where it goes.
Let's take it.
Yeah.
Let's go with it. Would you like to offer the first question or statement?
Yes, I would.
Good.
I think
That's how these things work.
Yeah. So, yeah, usually you have someone you kind of ask questions and then you get some responses and you kind of conversate about that a little bit, I think.
Yeah. And you're in somewhat of a pod setting. Ideally a broken bone with a cast on, but we don't have either. We don't have casts on, so we can't officially call it a podcast.
Right. Yeah. True.
I'm trying to play into the generational thing. I'm trying to get into the dad joke.
The dad joke.
This is the stupid dad joke.
Okay,
stuff,
here's the first question. What generation are you?
I think I'm Gen Z.
Gen Z is like the most current one. Well, second most current
No, then
one.
I'm Gen X. I'm Gen X. Gen X.
Okay.
Sorry, Gen X. I
That's
meant to
okay.
say Gen X.
Yeah.
I meant to say Gen X.
Do you know why you're a Gen X?
Because the age range is, or the year range is like, it's like 69 to 80 or something like that. As far as birth,
Maybe, yeah.
I think it's
Something like that. I'll look it up.
Yeah, look it up. I can't remember the actual the ranges of birth, but I was born in 74. If you're watching this, just pull out a calculator and you can kind of figure out. But yeah, I was born in 74, so Gen X, and then of course my parents were of the baby boomer generation.
Baby boomers.
That's like 50s, I think. 50s to something, kind of coming out of World War II.
Yeah, like everyone that came home from World War II.
The soldiers.
So they're all having babies.
Yeah. Soldiers weren't having babies. Their wives were.
Correct.
Whoever it was that they found themselves home to.
Yeah. Yeah.
Boys are back in town. Yeah, so I'm a GX.
Yeah, so this one image I have here is saying 65 to 80.
Okay, yeah.
For Gen X.
Yeah.
The silent generation is 28 to 40. Well, here, I'll go all the way back.
Yeah, just do the whole thing. So
we have the lost generation, 83 to 1900. Then you have the greatest generation, 1901 to 1927.
Or Gen X.
No. Then
That's
the silent
actual greatest. But go ahead.
Gotcha. Then the silent generation, 1928 to 1945. Baby boomers, 1946 to 1964.
Mm-hmm.
Gen X, 65 to 80. Millennials, 81 to 96. Generation Z, 97 to 2012. Generation Alpha just says early 2010s to mid 2020s.
Yeah. So my youngest daughter, Leah's 15. So she's right at the edge of Generation Alpha.
Yeah.
Or 2009.
So, yeah. But Gen Z, Gen Alpha
She's
overlap.
like in the transition zone between Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
So
going to be...
You're Gen Z.
I'll talk about that some.
Let's do it.
So...
I have my opinions on generational studies. We'll get to that.
Okay. One of the things I want to talk about is these ranges are pretty arbitrary.
They
I
are.
think.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I remember being in school, probably first grade or second grade. And I remember learning about generations. And I remember seeing millennials. That was the newest generation.
Mm-hmm.
And them saying, "You're a millennial. You guys are all millennials." Then I remember growing up a little bit, and then I heard about people talking about Gen Z as like I was a teenager. And then seems like COVID happened. And then Zoomer, the word Zoomer started coming out.
I have heard that. Yeah.
And that seemed to be around COVID time.
Yeah.
And at least that I first heard it.
Everyone was home.
And then you go to look it up, and it's like, oh, you're Gen Z now. So at some point, I went from, or the world went from, they kind of stretched it out a little bit and extended the range of.
We like to label things.
Right. And we like to put things, yeah.
Yeah.
And so you could call me a Gen Z if you want. I don't.
What do you prefer?
I don't think I fit in with Gen Z.
If I was, what would you want to be called?
I think I would be more of a millennial.
Millennial.
I would cede to a zillennial, which is another term that I heard recently.
Yeah.
Kind of like how you would be. What year were you born? Sorry, I forgot.
Do you know? 74.
74. Oh, you're pretty solid in Gen X, but still,
I'm right there at the beginning, middle of Gen
close
X.
to the Gen X millennial breaking point. My dad would be the perfect example of a right between Gen X and millennial.
Yeah. Yeah, because generations are the whole idea of generational studies is grouping people based on some level of commonly experienced set of events.
Yeah, and a mindset.
Yeah, and those events have noticeably shaped.
Right.
Like 9/11 is a good example. The
Cold War.
shuttle disasters.
Oh yeah.
The wars are definitely right. The
internet being invented.
The internet, AI,
phones,
right?
Smartphones.
Phones, yep.
AI.
Right now, climate change is a big one.
Yeah, I would
even
say
though
it's been around. Yeah,
it's been around, but now it's really becoming. We're starting to see like science is making connections between. We're starting to see things happen.
Yeah.
But there's a lot. There's a lot of. I don't know if I'd say controversy, but not sure if we're experiencing something enough that will put us in a different generational component. But
discrepancy.
Yeah, like I was your age, close to it when 9/11 happened.
Right.
And that definitely was a pivot point. The whole open door around not domestic terrorism, but terrorism happening on our soil in a way that shaped the world in a sense.
It opened up a lot of stuff.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Plus, it was also something where most people, including myself, knew people that were there.
Yeah. And
had either a direct or at least 1 degree separation from someone who lost their lives in that.
Yeah.
So,
a connection.
So very, very strong connection.
What's Alex and I talked a little bit about 9/11.
Yeah.
What's your take on it? You think it was purely organic or extra?
You mean like
extraterrestrial to the U.S., or you think that there was any sort of?
Are you saying do I think it was domestic terrorism versus international terrorism on our soil?
Sure. Yeah. Was there any U.S. involvement, do you think?
I don't know. The only thing I could say that might be a hint to that would be that it was, it was domestic terrorism that was driven by connection to.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So people that might have been American citizens.
Yeah.
Right. Well, we already know that.
Right.
That was already proven. But people that were living and doing things in America that had an ideal that they were willing to go to the extreme
Yeah, but you don't think government had any involvement?
I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
It's
know.
tough to say.
Yeah.
There's a lot of questions. Like
Government involvement, I mean, in terms of like foul play?
like staging it,
yeah.
like pinning it on Osama, but doing it themselves.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
That would be very tough.
Yeah.
It'd be very tough to know if that was the case.
Some of the questions that those people have, not saying that I am.
Yeah. People that are in that camp that feel like it was a government.
There's an inside job. Would be like the steel beams and stuff in the tower where they were melted.
Yeah.
And jet fuel is like supposedly doesn't burn hot enough to melt the steel that was in those buildings. The Pentagon, the hole it was so low that the plane would have been like on the ground going into the building.
Mm-hmm.
That it wouldn't have been possible for it to really do that.
Mm-hmm.
Also, that there wasn't a plane even found or there, like in any of the pictures. There's no plane inside. You would think you would see a plane in the Pentagon, but there is no plane.
Yeah.
The way that the building fell, like it looked just like a demolition explosion, where how they blow up buildings and they just fall straight down. Didn't like fall over per se. You know, those are some questions that I've heard.
Yeah, I mean those are.
There's no footage of the plane hitting the Pentagon either, supposedly. And I get that the FBI and like those people would want to gather all that footage and review it and look at it, but the fact that there's nothing that we can see is interesting, I think.
The key there would be motive.
Yeah.
What motive would the government have in taking out, doing something like that? That's interesting. Yeah.
I think it led to the Patriot Act, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which basically kind of gave government agencies full surveillance over all citizens' communication, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And it gave them a lot of data that they could sift through and use potentially.
Yeah. So you and Kyle, you and Alex might you and Kyle. You and yourself.
Yes, me,
you
myself,
and Kyle.
and I.
You dang it. Stupid Generation X. You and Alex might have already talked about this, but so what you're saying is there's a potential conspiracy where the government was using that as an optional way to, because they knew that the end result would be greater
power,
control, and power over. Yeah,
kind of.
Yeah, that's interesting.
It's a proposal. It's not like a.
Oh yeah,
I'm not saying it's true,
yeah,
but
it's an idea.
You look at like 1984, like the way to get more power is to put people in fear.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if someone can protect you, then you're gonna give them what they need.
Yeah, I don't necessarily believe that, and one of the main reasons is I don't see alignment between that and the administration's direction they were trying to go.
Okay.
Around that time, but never know.
That was Bush.
Mm-hmm. Junior
or W.
Yeah, George W. Yeah. Just didn't seem that didn't seem like it would align unless he, of course, it could be done without his right. You know,
yeah.
Thus the reason it was done that way potentially, if that's what it was. Yeah.
I was not old enough to remember it very well, so.
I mean, I was at the time I was a youth pastor at Menchville Baptist Church, which is local to this area, Newport News, over by Menchville High School, and I had Sarah with me.
Oh wow!
This is when Sarah was probably
she was like 6 months old,
around there. Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Anyway, yeah, she was in a baby carrier, and I had gone to the IRS to do something. I can't remember if I was picking up a Social Security card or something like that, something to do. So anyway, I was at the IRS, and when I was in the IRS, I heard some people in the back room going, "Oh man, you know, what pilot would run into a building?" And that was the first airplane that hit the building. It was like a smaller aircraft, and they were kind of a little bit kind of like naively laughing at it in a sense, kind of like, you know. And then it was like, then they started realizing that, some people might have been killed in that little crash. And so then they were like, oh. So then I went straight to the church to drop something else off. And I was like, well, I'm really curious. And so I went into this room where there was a TV and started watching the news. So there was about a 5-minute gap because the IRS was right near where the church was. And I just sat there in the room. I closed the door, turned the lights off, had Sarah with me, and just watched the whole thing unfold.
Dang.
And I was there for probably 2 hours. So saw everything happen there, the Pentagon, the crash in Pennsylvania, all those, people arriving on the scene, ground zero, stuff like that, and just stayed glued to it. It was
intense.
Yeah, it was definitely rough to see. It was just unbelievable. So
yeah, definitely a moment of generational impact.
Yes.
I don't know.
You're about a year. You're a year older than. So you were about a year.
I was like a year
and a half, maybe.
And a half.
Yeah. So what do you think? What events have defined your?
Definitely the rise of smartphones. I would have to say.
Mm-hmm.
The
rise of smartphones.
Like it seems a little silly, but
yeah,
definitely. I mean. And I was watching it closely because I was obsessed. I was like, it's one of those kids that made a fake, iPhone out of cardboard or whatever, and just awesome. Just like looking at all the new stuff. Like it was just crazy to me, and just seeing
definitely a paradigm shift.
Seeing somewhat. I mean, everybody started going for like flip phones, slide out keyboards, and Blackberries were around and everything, and then you start seeing iPhones more and more and more.
And it happened quick.
Yeah, I think, man, I was probably like 10-ish, 10 to 12 maybe, when people started it was not optional. Everybody had a smartphone.
Yeah.
And I remember that and wanting to be part of that group.
I mean, to pull these two things together, which do you think would offer more control? Taking out 2,500 people in a building or allowing smartphones to...
I think they're connected, man.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, the Patriot Act gives you access to everybody's phone. You give everybody the internet on their phone. Now you can see everything that they're doing.
And you can't get a phone without checking the boxes and giving permission.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it's hard to
get a burner.
It's hard to get away from, but yeah. They make it very convenient, and the easiest way to get plugged in is to just check all the boxes. And
I think the way that we made that shift is very fascinating. It really comes down to a small group of people that gave a large group of people the opportunity to get creative very fast.
Yeah.
And they poured money and resources into that creativity. I know that, I was reading former CEO of Apple.
Steve Jobs?
Yeah, Steve Jobs. I was reading his biography.
Oh, yeah.
And this was a while ago, but one of the things that was, I think it was an autobiography. And one of the things they were talking about was the story around he grew up in a neighborhood, a small neighborhood that was pretty much most, if not all, the houses were designed by Frank Lloyd Wright.
Okay, well.
And if you're familiar with Frank Lloyd Wright, he is well known for building his homes that exist in nature, and they look like the environment.
Yeah.
And Frank Lloyd Wright's vision was, if you're going to live in one of the homes I design, you're not just living in a home, you're living out what it means to be in that home. So it becomes part of your life. So a lot of times if you interview someone that lives in a Frank Lloyd Wright house, most of the time they're staying there, and it's actually become part of who they are. The house, So anyway,
like their personality.
Yeah. But the story goes that he would walk those neighborhoods, and he had gone back to visit family, or maybe he was still living there.
Steve Jobs would walk Frank
Yes.
Lloyd Wright neighborhoods. I didn't really realize he had neighborhoods, but it makes sense.
Yeah. His family lived in one, or he lived in one, or something like that. I can't get all the facts. But anyway, the point being is that he knew that vision, and that was a little bit of a, I mean, the word is synectics, but the synectic side of it, he realized, he was like, wait a minute. I want to take that vision and apply it to this idea of what we're trying to accomplish with the iPhone.
Mm-hmm.
And so he came back to his team and he basically said, we're going to simplify this, and we are going to build things that people love to use.
Yeah.
That was the idea. It's easy to use. And that became like this criteria for the technology.
Guiding star.
Yeah, like people would bring up an idea and he would say, that's too hard. Start over.
Wow.
You know?
Yeah.
Fascinating. But that's how, I mean, it's crazy. If you open up an iPhone now, or other companies too, there's no instructions.
It's true.
You just learn how to use it as you use it.
Yeah. I think there's maybe some tips, like you can kind of run through some tips if you need to learn how to do something, but
if you want to, but you don't have to.
You don't need to.
Yeah, you don't have to.
That's the whole point of it. Yeah. The user experience is something that I've been pretty interested in lately.
UX,
just like human. Yeah, I mean, it's psychology. It's a whole bunch of stuff.
Human factors is a big field in that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I got to do some work with a team at NASA that their lab, their group, it's a pretty small group, but they are the ones who do all of the creative technology and experimentation for heads-up display for astronauts.
That's cool.
Helmets, and what would astronauts need on the moon in their heads-up displays?
Yeah.
How do they interact with it?
That's a very specific set of criteria
It's pretty awesome.
and problems. Yeah.
Yeah. Just a lot of young engineers just getting creative and working with astronauts, or trying to do the old thought experiment, the what ifs.
Yeah.
What would I need to know?
Yeah. How do we blank?
Yeah. How do we blank? This is how you blank.
Yeah. That's cool. That's really fascinating.
Yeah. That, I think, is... Talk about generations. I mean, of course, it will happen in both of our generations, but the likelihood of definitely boots being on the moon in the next few years, but boots being on Mars, or at least robots, and humanoid robots,
exploratory
will
endeavors.
happen in the very near future, but definitely in your lifetime will be.
You think people will be hanging out up there?
Not sure what hanging out would look like.
Studying and
depends on how many
developing
glorbs are there.
Sure. Gotta watch out for those.
Reference to previous podcast episode.
They'll just pop out of the ground.
Just come digging out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, it's gonna happen. Of course, right now it's all insane to start science there. It's not. I don't think we'll
colonize it.
Yeah, there's all kinds of science around, like terraforming and all that stuff. Is that possible? Could we actually habitate Mars? I don't know. But anyway, that's a generational.
That would definitely be a generational experience.
Landing on the moon was one that my parents witnessed.
Right. Yeah, anything that changes your worldview and your perception of reality, I guess. Yeah.
What else? What's changed your perception of reality?
Let's change mine. Okay.
I said, what has?
Oh, that's what I said. Let's change your perception of reality.
It wasn't a proposal.
Go for it.
I guess we could try.
My perception of reality, man.
Maybe nothing really has, I guess, if you have a pretty firm perception. But
there's definitely like a work culture
that's a good
difference.
Like work ethic.
Work ethic, but also just like work brand, like loyalty.
Mm-hmm.
Like a lot of older people that I know have worked one place.
Mm-hmm.
Could be 30 years, like, or even their whole entire career.
Yeah.
Like loyalty to a company seems to be a bigger part of previous
Older generations. Yeah.
generations.
Yeah.
And I don't necessarily know why, but definitely seems like younger people, and I get that, you know, as you're entering a workforce, you're going to have to make changes to find something that you like, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it seems to be a lot more job hopping in my age, and maybe higher.
Yeah.
But, and there's like this whole work culture, like people just prioritize the work-life balance maybe more than they used to.
Yeah, work-life balance the past 10 years has been there's been a huge swing towards employers
Flexibility.
having to pay a lot of attention to that being a benefit to working wherever,
Yeah.
you know.
I don't know, like, I always hear about tech companies, you know, like they have like ping pong rooms in their conference rooms, and you get free lunch every day, you know, like it seems like the tech companies maybe drove some of that. I don't know. That's just a theory, but
yeah, drove it, yes, and even in like the HR world and other types of things, there's a lot of studies out trying to figure out why is that happening. Is it, of course, generational studies are you know, it depends on what side of or what part of the continuum you're on in terms of whether or not you believe generational studies are valid or not, right? But you know, trying to figure out what is it about like my generation or even my dad's generation where the longevity you have with an employer is tied to security, it's tied to ego, it's tied to stability.
Yeah, stability is probably a big thing.
And over time, that exchange becomes very personal, and so the idea of leaving it is disruptive. It's risky. You're leaving your people, not just a company, right? So and I think now that's a little bit different. I think social media has played into that.
Sure, yeah, that's a good point.
The idea of connection is moving and swaying, and
it's different,
you know, and so being connected to an employer probably feels different, but
people are getting their social interactions not necessarily at the place that they work.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So maybe you're not socially invested as much as maybe you used to be in your workplace.
Yeah. Which is why workplaces are trying to increase
social interaction.
The idea of social interaction, right? Yeah. So that, but also, like, I think it's also a product of like the Industrial Revolution, industrial period, where the idea of work started to shift in industry because we needed to produce things for the wars, cars, you know, and
manufacturing,
assembly lines, manufacturing, just industry in general created big, large companies that needed workers to stay because their skills grew and grew and grew, and that becomes more valuable, and then you get a higher paycheck, and it just keeps going. And
it's interesting.
So that longevity is beneficial for both the employee and the company.
Yeah.
But then it has other side effects. You can lose innovation because you don't have new ideas, and the status quo becomes very heavy.
I guess manufacturing and like industry jobs are probably a lot smaller share of the workforce now than they used to be. Like I wonder, I'd be curious to see like what's the services industry, like there's a lot of other, I mean, they're engineering, I guess, I don't know if you would call engineering industrial or not, but it's usually like a service, you know,
because you're still birthed out of it, the idea of
producing a product, I guess.
I mean, there's, you know, the past 15, 20 years has been a lot of emphasis on things like apprenticeship the trades in general,
Yeah.
suffering from the ebbs and flows of the need for trade work. As long as we have things inside our homes and in businesses, and we're building things that are pneumatic and mechanical in nature, and they need to stay together, and you know, electricity and all those different things, we're going to need, unless we design robots that can do all that work.
Yeah.
Or we realize we don't need all that stuff.
Yeah. Eventually, I think it'll happen. You'll see
Like
robots. And,
yeah.
And
I mean, it is already in some industries, even welding and car, you know, all that stuff.
Manufacturing is a pretty easy one to start out with, but even
other technologies.
Yeah, like all kinds of stuff. I had a thought. Forgot what it was.
I think that I'll let you keep thinking, but the generational studies thing is it's always very interesting to me, because a lot of times we'll try just like other types of science, especially in like psychology and generational studies, things like that, where we'll, like you mentioned before, we tend to put profile generations into a bucket of time frame, but it doesn't always. It's a very high sweep aggregate.
Yeah.
Or bell. It's like, I don't think you could ever look at one person and say, you're a Gen X. I bet I can describe you to a T. Maybe the whole generation you can describe some characteristics.
But then maybe there's also like some self-fulfilling prophecy where if me and all my peers all think that this is what Gen Z is, and then we accidentally live up to it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I've been in trade work for 7-ish years, and I've always been pretty much always the youngest guy on the crew or in the job. So working with a lot of guys that have 10, 20, 30 years on me. And I think that has personally impacted my worldview, because, you know, if I'd spent 4 years in college with kids my age, maybe I would have came out with a
good point.
More stereotypical worldview of someone my age. But I think that's another reason that I maybe feel like I relate more to millennials. So I've been around them more so usually than Gen Z.
That's kind of my point, though.
Yeah, it's like there's different factors than just what year you were born.
Yeah, like I've spent most of my after high school, most of my life has been working with teenagers and college students.
People,
I mean, and
doing podcasts with just like crazy.
I mean, you talk
kids.
About immature, but immature podcasts like this.
Amateur.
Oh, amateur. Dang it. Using phrases like facts and real.
Dang it. Lit.
Yeah.
Lit, honestly, is kind of out now, I think. But we have a Gen Alpha
the chain.
in the building right now.
That's an older one.
Off the chain. Saying there's a Gen Alpha in the house. We could bring her up and have her just.
We could, yeah.
She would spit out a bunch of cool.
Yeah, she would. She told me the day that I rage bait her. And I told her I knew what it meant. Not quite sure I do by the way you just laughed right now. So
no, it's just funny to me.
Yeah,
I guess rage bait. It's like antagonizing somebody. Yeah. Pretty self-explanatory.
Like I might say, "You're really starting to tick me off."
Yeah, she's like, "You're rage baiting."
You're rage baiting me. You're doing something that makes me angry. Like I don't have a choice to be angry or not.
Yeah,
like I'm a fish in the water. But the point is, people, just because you're grouped in a generation doesn't mean that your experience matches the aggregate idea of what the profile says.
Yeah.
Right. So
You think that's like humanity's need to self-describe itself, or is that more of like big companies and brands trying to learn their consumers? Maybe
it's both.
I think it's both.
But I think what tends to get those engines moving is big corporations or entities knowing that the only way they're going to survive or increase their profits is by getting people to do work with more rigor or more zeal and more connection, and so they want to know those people. So then
or
they bring
buy
in
something.
Yes,
Like
exactly.
yeah.
Yeah. So then they bring in psychologists.
Yeah,
and
do a lot of research.
people to figure out how can we get to know our people. So then there's a whole. So a lot of times thought leaders and things like that, they are in that space where they're doing this amazing work studying the human system, and they come up with an idea or a model or a theory, and they publish it, and then companies embrace it, and it ebbs and flows. I mean, and you can always tell by the keywords. All right, you've got 16% of your team is Gen Xers.
Yeah, right.
So you need to be able to do this so that they're going to get buy-in.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah. So I think it's a little bit dangerous to
just put everybody in a box.
Yeah, because
I don't know.
I've known young people that blow me away with their level of maturity.
Sure.
And then vice versa, right?
Yeah. Some older people that just really leave you wondering.
Yeah. I had a lot of people when I was younger tell me that make statements like, you seem very mature for your age, Joke's on them. I don't know what else to say.
Yeah. Right. Dang, man. You think other countries do the same types of things? Like these societal impacts, these historical events that shape our worldview, a lot of them are specific to the U.S.
Like, is there a European version of a generational study?
Or is China like, do they have their own labels for generations?
That's a really good question. I don't know the answer to that. That's actually something I need to go find out. However, I do know that they do ask similar questions.
Right.
It's the same questions.
Yeah.
Whether or not their process has revealed, or they use the same process to understand that they have their own way, because the history in China, the culture, the government, the way all that plays into how a young person's view in a period of time differs from another person's view in a period of time. And so they may call it generational, but either way, they have some way of, I think other places it's just not that important to them.
It might be the case. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't really know.
I'm sure there's tribes where you go, it looks like you got some older generation leaders here. They're going to be like, hey, what's a leader and what's a generation? What are you talking
Chiefs.
about? Yeah. What's that? I think being a dad has opened my eyes a lot to that. Is you start to see there becomes this point where you start to see some of the mega differences in the way that your children think.
Yeah.
When they're younger, you don't see it as much because they're kind of in your place. But when
sort of adopting your views and
and as they get older, the values are there, the things that you're teaching them or modeling or being a parent are there, but they're also exploring and thinking, and they have experiences that that they have in their generation that shape some of that or influence it.
I can't speak to that yet. But I mean, so I've just had twins.
Yeah.
We announced that last episode, but I don't know if it made the episode because it got cut down.
That's true.
Yeah.
I forgot we did that.
Well, the last episode that Alex and I did.
Twins.
Yep.
Twin babies, twin girls.
That happened.
It happened.
I didn't birth them. My
No.
wife Sarah birthed them.
But you might as well take credit.
I did most of the work,
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah.
Sarah will tell you that she barely did anything. Yeah. No. But if you're
To initiate.
Yeah.
The past 9 months have probably been a lot of work. Yeah. 10 months.
No, I'm just
actually.
totally kidding. You might be connecting the dots, but Jason's daughter is Sarah, who happens to be my wife. So just putting that out there. My father-in-law is the president of NASA, and he's on this podcast right here.
Newly minted grandfather.
Newly minted grandfather.
And if you are making that connection, because I am his father-in-law, his kids are my grandchildren.
That's also true,
Yes.
scientifically speaking.
Yes. And biologically.
Right.
Which is probably more important.
What is biology other than science?
That's true. It is a form of... Actually, I think science studies biology.
Okay.
Anyway. Just chalk it up to a generation.
Yeah. So that's true. That's another thing that they train managers on dealing with different. This is how you deal. This is how you manage or address a Gen X or Gen Z versus a millennial. You know, this is how you this is how you approach like, what's the word? Discipline, not discipline, but
Accountability.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyway, twin daughters, seeing them grow up and the differences in their own, I think that's going to be really interesting.
Yeah, that's awesome.
They already act differently.
Yeah.
They don't act the same. I mean, they don't even really have full personalities yet, and they're already different.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So that'll be cool to see.
Well, and on that note, seeing them, which is the next generation after my children, it's just fascinating to think, like, to imagine when they're in those teenage years, what experiences or what's going to be happening in the world.
It's kind of scary, honestly.
Because we're right on the cusp of a lot of things with the technology, and
I mean, AI will be like just native to them.
Will even be called that.
I don't know, but
Even,
whatever it is, it'll be natural for them.
Like my 15-year-old, I don't even think she understands the concept, of course, but with things like phones and things like that, the idea of something being on and off in terms of technology, it is an academic knowledge. She knows that if her battery runs out on her phone, her phone's going to die. Yeah. But she doesn't, in a normal setting, think about the fact that her phone is on. Yeah. It's just always
just there.
It's there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The internet is just there. Like,
it's there. It's not even something you have to think about.
Right.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
So the next generation, you know, I mean, in terms of there's the formal generation idea that a generation is technically every 40 and some on change years is the generation. Okay. So like when you look at actual things like census and the Bible and history and historical capturing generations. Genealogy, that's the word I'm looking for. Genealogy, yeah. The generations are real. You're talking about the actual passing of a bloodline through generations. Yeah. Right? So there's that. And so a lot of times the generational studies, they're not saying that because something happened, it's actually looking at a time frame of generation. And based on events or based on something, they're labeling that, you know. But new generations are being created every day, every second, you know. Yeah, that's true. It's like, so this image I was talking about earlier, we started out with, like, one generation is 13 years, one generation is 26 years, one generation, like, in terms of like Gen X, Gen Z. Yeah. It's all just arbitrarily Right.
defined. Like, it doesn't. There's no set year. It's not like 25 years. You know.
Yeah.
If you're gonna do that, that would be a whole different set of.
That's a good. I mean, I don't know. I could be wrong in that too, but the study of generations, I think, is fascinating.
Yeah.
And there are markers. Those generational labels, I'm not really sure like why those brackets of years are assigned. I'm sure you could look that up.
And it's not even like hard set either. Like people
Right.
disagree on them.
Yeah.
I mean, not necessarily like there's just, if you look at one study versus the next, they're not going to be the same.
Yeah. I'll give you a quick example. Like, before I went to NASA, I was at Newport News Shipbuilding, and I remember going through. There was the shipyard, which is a contractor to Department of Defense. The Navy at the time. If you get on an aircraft carrier or a submarine, the Navy has their phones with them, right? Of course, they're sworn in, and they're property of the government in a sense, and they are trusted with those devices. But shipyard workers, no, right? You can't bring. You're not supposed to have that or be using it on, especially a phone that has a device that can take images.
At that time,
you're not supposed to have it. So I remember going through the process and thinking around digital transformation and the fact that, the current and future generations, the phone is an appendage to the body. It's like it's a thing that connects people.
You don't go without it.
So why would we hinder connection? So it wasn't about it was about, we have to make room for this, or we could potentially lose an entire generation.
Yeah,
they're not going to want to work here if they can't.
I mean, you talk about work-life balance. You tell me I can't have my phone. I'm not going to work.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
It was a real battle, and so they ended up making it something you could do, but there was, of course, a lot of policy and a lot of, I mean, there was definitely a purge of accountability, because people. I remember even very quickly, people were, losing their jobs or getting prosecuted because they did something they shouldn't with their phone. Not even something bad, just a selfie, right? You can't do that, right? When you're sitting inside a submarine or something. But that was the generational studies, and the psychologists and scientists, were brought in to really, or were in there already. Were hey, we can't ignore what's happening
on that. I think they're still kind of struggling with that.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
they are. It's tough. I mean, it's that's a place where you want things to be secure.
Yeah, right. I get that. But as an emerging tradesman, the shipyard was an option. But I didn't consider it, mostly because I just didn't want to work for like a big conglomerate, whatever. But
big company.
Now with like the work-life balance stuff that we're talking about, like there's no way. I mean, it'd have to be a sweet deal for me to go there. You know what I mean? Like, it's just not worth it to me.
Yeah, it's not.
The things that are important to me are not important to them, and
when I transitioned to NASA, it took me a good year. For me to like, I remember feeling guilty the first year I was there, because I wasn't working 10-hour days. I wasn't, like in the grind of the, I'd done that for 17 years, walking deck plates up and down ladders and all that.
Were you, did you have to go in early and stuff for parking at the shipyard, or were you?
Yeah.
Like how early?
I mean, the latter 4 or 5 years, it wasn't as bad because of the roles I were in, but I mean, if you're in the trades, your shift, like a day shift, is 7 to 3:30. You're getting there at 5,
right? To park.
Maybe 5:30 to find a parking spot. Otherwise, you're riding a bus in or something. And
is that paid?
You have to pay to park.
But I'm saying, you have to pay to park?
in some areas,
Oh my
unless you
gosh.
get there so early that
Yeah.
you can find one of the open spots.
But
No, you don't get paid.
right.
No, you're
Yeah.
sleeping in your car,
Yeah.
or you're walking in early and chilling in some, laying on a
talking
toolbox somewhere
yeah.
until your shift starts.
Work-life balance. You gotta just dedicate 2 hours of every day that you work to just being here.
It's a lifestyle.
Like that's not.
It's a lifestyle.
You're
Yeah,
not
it
catching
was
me
rough.
doing that.
It was rough.
That's for sure.
When Sarah was young, I was an apprentice at the time, and so working long days, but then coming home and being in coveralls and being filthy, metal grit all over you. So you really can't do anything until you get all that cleaned up.
Yeah, right.
and
That's something I've thought about, or I've had to think about now
Yeah.
too. Is like, what was I doing today? I'm not gonna. You can't just walk in and grab a baby. You know.
Yeah.
And that's another thing that impacts my perception of.
Now, granted, I loved the work.
Yeah, the
work was
right.
actually amazing.
There's
And good people, hard work,
Yeah.
But it was the kind of work where you did something and then you watch it sail away, and you
very
can kinda
fulfilling.
Yes, very fulfilling work,
Mhm.
and also just fascinating technology and tools and stuff like that. But I feel it now. My joints and knees, and getting banged up and all that. People who have been there for 40 years, 50 years.
rough shape.
Rough shape. Props.
Yeah.
To use a generational term. Props.
Right.
Props to them.
Yeah.
I do. I miss that. That's actually one thing about NASA or working not there that I miss. So that's why I'm a tinkerer, man. I've got to have something I'm working on.
Yeah. If
Cutting, grinding, whatever.
you find other ways to kind of fill that, or
Yeah. But that's back to even as a dad, being a dad, it's of course being a dad to daughters is a little bit different in terms of what their aspirations might be, but it's fun to be able to listen to that, figure it out, and then just get behind it and just support them as much
yeah,
as
That's
possible. If they want to go to the shipyard, then
yeah,
I'll get real with them and
yeah,
help them go to the shipyard.
yeah, yeah. Jeez, man, it's crazy. What do you think? Like, you think the definition of success is different now, in terms of
Well, that's a good one.
like, are people? It seems like people might be
It depends on
shying
what country
away.
you're into.
Maybe,
Yeah.
but in the U.S., we'll
Yeah.
say like,
Western success.
Western success, the American dream, you might call it.
Yes.
Probably, I could hypothesize that people don't necessarily want like the manager role anymore, like the leadership role. It may not be the case. I don't really know, but getting the higher up job and getting the nice
Climbing the ladder.
suburban house with the white picket fence,
The image.
yeah, that kind of stereotypical American dream seems like it's not really the goal of most younger people. A lot of younger people, maybe.
Yeah.
These days. I could be wrong, but
I feel like it's much more individualistic,
yeah,
kind of a get yours kind of thing, and
a lot of side hustles.
side hustles. I think also a different interpretation of what you need to do in order to obtain what you want. I think it can get over into entitlement, which is a negative side of that, but it's more I don't know, I'm impressed by the level of creativity that the younger generation or the generation below me because I'm better.
Gen X.
The lesser generation.
Right.
Yeah, sorry. Actually, ironically, I'm saying that I'm actually very impressed with how creative your generation is in terms of taking risk and being okay with stability feels different. It
Yeah.
sounds different. It's not longevity. It's something different.
I think what I was sort of getting at is like most like freedom
Yeah.
is kind of like a big, like people want to be able to work from
Autonomy.
home, go where they want to go, travel, like
Mhm.
they just want autonomy, like in their own actions, and I think that's a driving force of success these days.
I think that's actually a neat the whole idea of setting yourself up to be a platform for other people to use you for money.
Yeah.
Influencers, YouTubers, TikTok, all that stuff where
right.
you're,
You're like a medium.
you're a medium.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a product.
You're
basically.
a brand, really.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
And I think it's fascinating. I mean, it's that to me is an interesting shift that's happened. And, I mean, literally, all I have to do is just film my life,
Yeah.
record my life and put it out.
And put some ad time on it.
And just make sure it's a little bit interesting, and then
Yeah.
you get a following, and it goes viral. And next thing you know,
Oh, ideally.
you're making money.
Ideally.
Ideally,
I mean, we're recording a podcast right now that's going on YouTube.
Yeah.
That people, might watch.
Yeah.
Probably like 30 people.
but one of those could be a person that owns a large company.
And they are like, man, this brand is perfect for reaching my target audience.
Which is the other 29 people.
Yeah. But like for real though, I mean, I'm doing this with, really no monetary gain, at least not yet.
Right.
But it's just a creative outlet for me right now.
Mhm.
Like it's not, I mean, I'm learning, and that's important.
fun.
Yeah, it's fun. Get to have cool conversations, and then I love like the editing and learning how to craft a lot of people don't really watch video podcasts, or they watch them kind of passively, which I do that too.
Yeah.
But even when you're editing, like how do you make the conversation flow in the video? Like it's almost like I'm thinking in my head and then I'm trying to just translate that thought into the video. Like all right, this thought ends and this next thought has started, and then like switching angles and stuff just to visualize a conversation. And I mean,
And there's your style.
style.
It's kind of like Kyle's way of doing it. There's like, techniques that are kind of commonly used.
Yeah.
But there's your way of doing it as well.
Which is mostly I mean, it's amateur, so it's original, right? Yeah. I don't know.
Now, if you wanted, you could like start doing generational studies and start to figure out, do you want to target a certain
So
age
we
or
have a
audience?
huge, like I can already see in our analytics what the age and gender is of most of our viewers.
Interesting.
And I don't remember the exact numbers, but I like on some videos at least. And this isn't just out of the 20 people like that watch.
You're looking at the site hits,
like-
the whatever. Yes, the data.
Like overall, like the shorts, is like, there's thousands of views on those,
Yeah,
and like that's all incorporated. But I want to say it was like 25 to 45, something like that.
Okay, pretty decent
Male
range. Interesting.
Is like 90%, or maybe not 90, but a super high percentage. So
Yeah.
if I was like really into capitalizing on that, I guess I would find out, what are those people watching? What else are they watching on YouTube?
Yeah.
How are they like? How does this fit into their daily routine?
How do you connect to the trends?
Yeah.
and utilize the trends
and hit that home? But I'm just gonna kind of do it how I see best until I get actual feedback.
Yeah. Yeah.
from from some
Yeah, right
audience.
now you're probably fine having an old dude like me on, but at some point that could be risky.
I don't think so, man. I think you're target audience right now. Yeah.
Grandpa's out there, watch Ballseye, you know what I'm saying? With your coffee, decaf.
You can't just go out catch you a panfish no more and fry it up, man, because the water's all contaminated.
Yeah, it's definitely true.
No, man. I'm saying all that stuff, and I don't even really know what I was trying to get at now.
We're talking about success, and I think what you were really kind of rounding about to was that certain people or generations, whatever, success has been defined or gone after for differently, or it looks different, or how you get there. Yeah. Basically,
if I could record videos in my spare bedroom, put them on the internet, and create a platform with that, that would be the ideal. That would be success.
Yeah. Yeah. And the side effect being a resource that you get back that you can use to support your family or whatever. Right. Yeah.
Not necessarily going, putting in 20 years at a company trying to get the management job. You know, like that's not necessarily what I'm after. Could be.
I think that's what I think that there's always that, and you'll get there. Because I can start to feel it, and because I'm aware of it, I think I have an advantage in a sense. But there comes this point where the generation looks and says, when I was growing up, right?
Yeah.
But then it's also, there's this almost weird jealousy, anger, bitterness that can creep in
from like a older to a newer.
Right. So like I might say something like, I've worked my butt off for 40 years.
Yeah.
And I make 1/10 of some kid over there who spends 1 hour a day posting a video.
The stupidest thing ever. Yeah.
Yeah. About the fact they don't like tacos.
That's not a generational jealousy. That's a peer jealousy too.
It's not a generation. That's an actual thing. But
yeah,
there always tends to there is that weird kind of like when wisdom starts to set in, life wisdom.
Sure.
You can either get angry when other people don't see it, like a generation, because you understand that you had to learn things the hard way. Well, they may be getting the benefits, not learning it the same way.
Yeah.
But that's also because you learned it in a different environment.
Yeah. The day I turned 18, there was an app on my phone that I could download and start investing in stocks and stuff. Yeah. And that wasn't an option before. No. So now, at 18, I can, maybe not for the best, maybe not in my best interest, but I could invest in companies and just have like immediate access to my retirement. Whereas before, you might have been calling somebody, putting in an order, Yeah. There's an easiness that there is now because of technology.
Even the concept of retirement is different. Retirement is even changing in what it is. Not, of course, the current administration is making taking a lot of pokes at it, but but just the concept of it, I think, is even shifting. Like,
interesting.
Back in the day, you work for a company and they take care of you when you can't work anymore. Yeah. You retire and you go live the life because they're paying for it, or your savings or whatever that they don't, I think that's even, what does it look like for a YouTube influencer to retire?
Right. You're kind of banking on passive income from people probably watching your videos, Right. Yeah. Like, even if you're not creating them, they're still, are you going to start making content before you retire that can be watched over and over and over again? Yeah. I think also the business environment nowadays is also a lot different. Things are much more volatile. They change is at a rate that is much quicker. Companies are having to rethink things in a more rapid cycle. Yeah. And sometimes even more radical. So things like
traditions and norms and stuff don't take, they're uprooted more often because of change. Even in big companies who've been around for a long time, I think are struggling even the most because they have very deeply rooted traditions and norms and ways of thinking and
policies. And, you can't just take them all for granted now.
Yeah, even in my experience right now at NASA, where, if you're watching this podcast at the current time, the government is going under a massive radical, leaning out. And
was Doge was not working, not running right now? Is that right?
No, Doge still exists.
Doge is still involved.
It still exists.
It's still doing stuff.
Yeah.
Okay. Didn't they have like a timeline or something on that?
Yeah, I'm not quite sure of how that looks specifically necessarily.
Yeah,
but,
I thought there was some sort of like temporary.
Yeah, it was. It's not a formal.
Setup. Yeah.
It's not a long-term agency. Yeah. But
Anyway,
there's people that have been doing this amazing work that they have loved, and they're world renowned, and they write massive papers, and everybody is using the products that NASA has over the years, many years, patented. It's not just space and science, it's everything down to car seats and flying and all that stuff. NASA's all over it. And so you got these men and women who've been doing this for 30, 40 years, and now all of a sudden they're being asked to, or being told, you might be doing something different. You might, your role might not exist. We may be stopping that particular area of work, and it's tough.
Yeah.
But then you get other people who are, and it's not really an age thing maybe, but it's other people who are just, they haven't been there that long. I would consider myself one of those, right? To me, it's more about vision and mission of the organization, and I'm okay taking some risk. I'm okay if I have to do something a little bit different. I'd love to be able to choose what that is.
Yeah.
But the mission and vision hasn't changed, so I still support that. So I'm going for it, right? But but that's part of that. You get this, you think you have this sense of stability, and then all of a sudden something big has to happen.
Yeah.
And it can mess that up.
It's cyclical.
Yeah. It is. Depends on the market too.
Yeah. Right. So why don't you guys drop down in the comments, what generation are you? And do you agree with it? I've had to fight so many people on, like my sister, my whole family. They're
what's the argument?
Like my sister would say, "You're not a millennial." She's like, "You're a Gen Z."
But why is she saying that?
I don't know.
Okay. Is it because the year? Is it because of the way you behave?
The year. I mean, I would say.
Okay,
but,
so
the year is arbitrary, and it also varies.
It's like a fog. Yeah.
It's not a hard line. It's not black and white, man. But yes, if you're like me and you don't agree with what generation you are, then put it in the comments.
Yeah. I never think about what generation I am.
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, I don't often, but when people ask, and some, when it seems to occur organically, at least semi-regularly, because I feel like I've had to defend myself multiple times.
That's funny. That's
but
weird.
I don't know, man. I would call it, I think I have a pretty informed opinion on it. I don't know.
Yeah, someone said, "What generation are you?" I'd be like,
"I'm Gen Z.
I'm 50. I have 2 kids, a couple grandkids.
I remember 9/11.
I was around 9/11. I was raised this way.
Pre-internet.
Yeah. Call that what you want. You're Gen X. Okay, cool. You want me to get a tattoo?" It's like, okay.
Oh, and you're okay with tattoos? Okay, so you might not be a Gen X.
You're probably perfectly fine in a cubicle. You like having coffee nearby. You don't necessarily need donuts or a ping pong table. That's more millennial.
You probably
No, actually, I really like those things. Foosball table would be better, actually.
yeah. It's a good conversation.
Yeah. Now I'm all self-conscious about what generation I'm in.
When you were a kid, did you just come in when the streetlights turned on?
Sometimes I came in when I heard my mom yelling.
Okay. Not when your mom texted you.
No. That was the text. It was verbal text.
Yeah.
It was words.
Yeah.
It was my name very loud.
People just text in their houses now.
I do that.
Yeah. I mean, it's normal.
Yeah. Your grilled cheese is ready.
Your chicken nuggets are ready.
Your chicken nuggets are ready. Your dinosaur chicken nuggets are ready. I'm 15. Okay, princess chicken nuggets.
But even 10 years ago, like, that wasn't necessarily normal. I mean, maybe 10 years ago, but 15 years ago?
10 years was definitely like moving that direction.
Yeah. 15 years ago, you know, you didn't text people in your house, I don't think. Maybe some people, but...
And it sounds like the way we're talking.
It was weird. Like, it was like a thing that people talked about.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
You know, that's, remember how I was saying that sometimes that you'll end up looking back at a generation and you'll be like, you know, we didn't do
Back in our
that.
day.
You know, I can't believe you text when you're in the room next to me.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but that's the norm. That's like think about it, it's actually pretty efficient.
Yeah. I mean,
it's like really efficient.
This versus like getting up, you know, stopping what you're doing.
Yeah. And I don't even know.
You were probably on your phone anyway, so you just have to like.
Yeah, and it's I don't even know if I mean, yes, it can be because you are lazy, you might do that, but on the other hand, it could be that because you are using your time to do something different, and you'd rather just throw a quick message to someone that's upstairs or whatever, you know. Yeah, that's the that's an interesting thing about technology is, you know, that shifts things so quickly in the way we do things. I think it's pretty fascinating. It
is. Will I just be like, when my kids are teenagers, will I just be like, I'll just have to think the thought. I'll just have to think, your chicken nuggets are ready. I'll just think that, and then it'll pop up on their heads-up display, and then they'll know their chicken nuggets are ready.
They'll come running downstairs. What are you doing? You thought me to come downstairs.
It's like the Elementor, man. Hey, I'm thinking at you.
I just thought you.
I don't know if you guys heard me, but I just thought you guys to like this video.
Yes.
And subscribe to the channel. Yep. And comment what generation you are. Did you get that thought? Mm-hmm. Did my thought go through?
It did. I actually knew it before you even said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
I already had it coming.
Sick, man. I think we'll probably call that a day.
Real.
Yeah. Thanks for coming back.
Thanks, man. Thanks for having me.
Yeah.
It was a fun conversation.
Yeah.
I have to go do some research now.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Well, let's just keep doing this every now and then, man. Whenever.
Let's do it.
Yeah.
I'm in.
We'll try to get Alex in too, so we can have a little
that'd be cool.
Trifecta.
That'd be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would enjoy that.
Sweet.
Alex gets me thinking.
Yeah. He's good at
that.
Nah, not really not really exciting thought.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't put my Alex glasses on.
He he commented on them.
Oh, did he?
Yeah. Cool, man.
All right.
See you next time.
Word.
Word.
Word. He's like going downstairs, checking on the babies. Yeah. Not quite sure about that kid. It's tough when you're mature like I am. Chicken. To stay humble, to invest in young men like Kyle. I do podcasts like this just more for, you know, just to be a role model. Things like that. Just to really pour into people and podcast is just a neat way to do that. I try to do at least 6 or 7 a day. So. I don't need a pacifier.
Check 1, 2. Hey, welcome to 99.7, the Ballseye.